listening to the Stone and Digital Dave radio show, heard nationwide on the internet and on FM stations across the nation. How about the Yankees? The Yankees are now the World Series champions. How about that? The Yankees are the World Series champions. Now I'm going to mention this, how they won the World Series. Well, actually, I'm going to state why the Phillies lost the World Series, because I think the Phillies could have easily beaten these Yankees. Game 6. Could you please tell me why Pedro does it again to another manager? Why did Charlie Manuel leave Pedro Martinez in with the bases loaded and Matsuki coming up to bat? It does not make sense. He already hit 2 home runs. He hit Pedro Martinez hard. He hit a home run off of him the last game. He just hit one the previous at bat, and now he's going to let Pedro Martinez pitch him with the bases loaded? Come on, where's your guts, Charlie Manuel? You should have taken Pedro Martinez out of the game. That cost you the game. Number 2, come on, Phillies. You got to get a third baseman and a catcher who can hit. I know you got a powerful lineup, but come on, you can't be hiding those weak bats in those positions. C, they lost the World Series back when they got Cliff Lee. Because once they made that deal to get Cliff Lee, they did not trade all the prospects. They did not have to trade the prospects that many of the teams were asking for. They should have won out. In addition to getting Cliff Lee, they should have gotten Roy Halladay from the Toronto Blue Jays. They had the prospects. They chose not to. They chose to be cheap, and it cost them. Could you imagine Roy Halladay on that Phillies team? Let's face the facts. They had one starter in Cliff Lee. Cole Hamels was just struggling all season, and Pedro was a bonus. So I blame the Phillies. The Phillies should have got Roy Halladay in addition to Cliff Lee. This team is a young team. The core of their lineup and the stars are in the late 20s, early 30s. But they chose to be cheap, and it cost it in the World Series. Could you imagine throwing Cliff Lee and Roy Halladay, or Roy Halladay and Cliff Lee and Pedro Martinez or Cole Hamels? Come on. They got cheap. Their payroll was about $114 million, and the Yankees $201 million for the payroll. They bought the World Series. That's right, they bought the World Series. The Yankees bought the World Series. But the Phillies lost it for being cheap. They had their opportunity to get Roy Halladay. And they chose, oh no, let's keep the payroll down. Well, come on. That's the difference between the Yankees and other baseball teams. The Yankees go out there and they try and they spend money to make it to the World Series. Other teams, they spend money, but they try to cut costs as well. We'll be back here on the Stone and Digital Dave radio show.